What it is, Crimson Empire. You already know who it is. It's the King, Crimson Red. And today, we going to be checking out something real interesting. And this is Jimmy Highroller's vid. NBA legends are coming after LeBron James. This should be interesting. Let's get it.
Shot clock to 5.
Man, who remembers that, bro?
James has to fire. And scores!
Everything in his power to make sure
James off balance. Shot clock
made it to the finals.
He had no angle and he drilled it. This is Jordan.
This is Rasheed Wallace,
Yes.
NBA champion.
Yes.
This is a 22-year-old LeBron James, and LeBron is in the midst of one of the greatest performances in NBA history. A game that has since been dubbed LeBron's 48 Special. LeBron scoring 25 straight points for the Cavaliers, propelling his team to a playoff victory in a classic overtime thriller. To this day, this is one of LeBron's hallmark performances. But if you ask Rasheed Wallace about this game, it's almost like it never even happened.
Really?
Months ago, during an appearance on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, Rasheed Wallace was asked about his thoughts on current NBA players and how well they would do back in his era. One of the players that came up was LeBron James.
Oh, okay.
And Rasheed had this to say.
A beast or soft? Steph Curry. And we talking about from your era. We not talking about from this era. Would the game change? We talking about if they was playing in your era, would they be?
Oh, soft.
Okay.
Okay, Steph Curry up first. I think Steph Curry would do the same thing he's doing now, because the defense was tougher, so he would have to figure out a way to score more. And with that being said, he would have figured it out like he did, especially with the ankle injuries. So to prevent himself from suffering more ankle injuries and figuring out how to score and how to lead the team, I think he would have did the same thing. I think he would have figured it out, got his handles together, got his shot together, and be lighting it up like he is now. This is how I see it, especially with his, how it is, how it was. His dad was in the league too, and his dad was a shooter. So that's how I see it. I see Rasheed can say. I think when Rasheed said soft, I think when it comes to the physicality, that's what I think. So, but still though, I still think that Steph would do the same thing he's doing, what he did, which is switch it up and find a way to score.
Talking my era soft.
James Harden.
My era soft.
I think James Harden's already a great shooter, so I think he'd be doing fine. I don't see him doing what he's doing. Well, you know what? No, I do see him. I do see James Harden doing what he did, going to his own team. Well, getting traded, giving more room giving more room off the leash to do what he needs to do, because that's what he did in Houston. He figured out his niche on how to score, how to get to the hoop. So I think with the same thing, I think with James Harden, he would have did it too. He would have figured it out because he's smart. That's what Steph Curry did. He's smart. So yeah, I think both Steph and James would be fine. I really do.
LeBron James.
He probably would have done good because with his physical stature, with him being
Absolutely.
a little bit bigger than a majority of the
Don't
rest.
disrespect him.
So he probably would have held his
Don't
own, but
disrespect
I
him.
don't think he would have been as successful as he is now. Like now is, man.
I think he's salty. I said it. I think he's salty because LeBron James is 6'8", maybe 6'9", 240 pounds when he came to the league. At his peak, I think he's about 270, 275. He was damn near 300 pounds. I don't give a fuck what you say. That's what I believe. Simply because when he went to Miami and he lost all that weight, people were saying he was around 240. But how can you be 240 when you've been quote unquote weighed all these years and they've been saying you're 240? So that means he had to be around 275. He had to, right? Because when he lost all that weight, he looked like he had cancer. It was weird. It was like, bro, what was that? Like, what are you doing? So yeah, I think at his peak, before he got in 2010, LeBron was about 275, and then he bulked up again. Because I think he got lean, lost weight, got lean, then bulked up. That's what I believe. And he jumped, and he's been 265 ever since. That's what I believe. But no, like I said, he's that tall, that big and strong, as man, fast. I mean, he's literally the same size as Karl Malone, with the speed of Allen Iverson, and the leaping and finishing ability of a Vince Carter or Dwayne Wade or Michael Jordan. I mean, he can finish at the hoop easy, right? Yeah, I don't see him not doing what he's doing. Well, I'm phrasing it, not doing what he did. I mean, because LeBron was born in what, 84, 85? So if you give him an extra 10 years instead, and he's born in 74 or 75, and he plays in the 90s, yeah, I don't see him not beasting. I don't. Now, simply because he would have learned, like Mike did, to take a beating. You know what I mean? Or deal with the hand checking on defense. So, like I said, I don't see him not progressing, not learning, and not doing what he's done. I don't see that.
You know what I mean? Like he doing it. Young boy doing it. You know what I mean? So, but it was a whole different era back then, bro.
I understand it, but I'm not going to
disrespect
this man.
I just told you.
A beast.
You know, I think he would have held his own. I can't necessarily say he would have been a beast, but I think he would have held his own.
Now, there has been this trend recently of former NBA players throwing shade at current NBA players, saying they would never make it back in their era. These new players are too soft or too small. This has been the case for years. Former pros hating on current pros, but this comment Rashid made about LeBron brings things to a whole new level. Because despite Rashid's apparent memory loss, LeBron played in the same era he did. This isn't a case of a player from, let's say, the 80s taking shot at a current player that just entered the league. A hypothetical situation that has no real evidence or conclusion. Rashid and LeBron literally played each other all the time. They were in the same conference. They were in the same division. Rashid said LeBron would probably have done well, but wouldn't have found as much success, falling somewhere between a beast and soft. But history says otherwise.
Man, simply because of his size, literally, and his know-how and his skill, yeah, I think he would have did just fine.
Now, Rasheed Wallace played in the NBA for 16 seasons, his prime taking place from the 1999-2000 season to the 2006-2007 season. LeBron James was drafted in 2003, right around the time Rasheed Wallace was at his peak. Rasheed's best season during those peak years was with the Portland Trail Blazers when he averaged 19 and 8 a game, shooting 47% from the field.
He really was.
At the same time, a teenage LeBron James in his first NBA season was putting up similar numbers. And by LeBron's second season in the NBA, he was already a superstar at just 20 years old. These numbers came in the exact era Rasheed said LeBron wouldn't thrive in. In fact, in LeBron's first 2 seasons in the NBA, while Rasheed was in his prime, the two of them matched up 7 times. And in those 7 matchups, LeBron in his first 2 seasons in the league was already putting up huge numbers against Rasheed. Now, at the time, Rasheed played for the Blazers and the Pistons, 2 of the toughest and most physical teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
And LeBron was doing this to them. Does this look like a player who's too soft to handle that era? But
No.
to be fair, Wallace never said LeBron wouldn't be better than he was. He just said he wouldn't have found as much success, and he certainly wouldn't have been a beast. But by the time Wallace retired from the NBA, LeBron was already a 6-time All-Star, had made it to the conference finals twice, made it to the NBA finals, won back-to-back MVPs, made 2 all-defensive teams, and made 6 all-NBA teams. That's already a Hall of Fame resume before Rasheed even retired from the NBA.
Yes.
LeBron could have played those 7 seasons, called it quits, and retired from the NBA, and he still would have found enough success to make the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Right.
So the idea that he wouldn't have found as much success in Rasheed's era is just flat out wrong. This statement from Rasheed would be the equivalent to LeBron in 20 years saying that Luka Doncic wouldn't have dominated in his era. Not only does this not make any sense, it's literally, objectively inaccurate. But here's the craziest part about this entire thing. Statistically, LeBron was just as dominant in Rasheed's era as he has been since Rasheed's era. In the 7 seasons LeBron played in the NBA at the same time as Rasheed Wallace, these were his numbers. And in the 7 seasons after Rasheed retired, these are LeBron's numbers. Nearly identical aside from the championships.
Right.
But just because LeBron wasn't winning rings doesn't mean he wasn't winning. In fact, while Rasheed was in Detroit, his most successful years during his NBA career, LeBron was contributing nearly more wins than anyone else in the NBA, including his 2004-2005 season when he came in 4th in win shares when he was just 20 years old. I compiled a list of players that played during Rasheed's era and after Rasheed's era, players that peaked towards the end of Rasheed's prime, and I compared their numbers from Rasheed's era to their numbers post-Rasheed's era. And wouldn't you know it, there is virtually no correlation between the era and the success they had offensively. If anything, most of these players had less offensive output after Rasheed's era.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, every one of these players played against LeBron, Curry, Harden, Durant, all of the players Rasheed Wallace said wouldn't dominate his era. And yet, all of the current players I just named went toe-to-toe with these players and found plenty of success. See, the thing is, most players are young enough that older players can make these statements, and there's no way to know if it's true or not because they never played each other. But LeBron's an old man at this point.
Yeah.
Dude's been in the NBA so
He's about to
long
be
that he
37 this
actually
year.
played against a lot of these former players. We got the receipts right here. But what happens when a former player from before LeBron's time says he wouldn't cut it in a tougher, more physical NBA?
So my last question: can you lock up LeBron?
No.
In your days,
Because LeBron
No
was
one
tripping.
could lock up LeBron. Me and Mike and Scotty could.
Scottie Pippen would have locked up LeBron.
Yeah. LeBron is so easy to play. He's so easy to play. He don't have any moves. He ain't got no moves. Where's he going? Where's he going? That's quick.
Straight downhill, man, and just
No,
jam.
said that'll be shit. You stop that. Scotty Pippen first shut his ass down quick before I get to him. This game is too simple. He just big. Now 260, whatever, 6'8", 6'9". That's the only thing he got, pretty much. I'll play you guys 7 foot 300, so it don't really matter.
Dennis Rodman is one of the greatest defenders in NBA history,
Yeah.
and certainly one of the toughest. But
Yeah.
the absolute cap I am hearing right now is immaculate.
Bro.
Sure, could Rodman give LeBron problems?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Could he do a better job of defending LeBron than any current NBA player?
Absolutely.
Probably. But Rodman saying that he could lock up LeBron is blasphemy. There's really no great 80s, 90s player comparison to LeBron, but let's take one of the greatest small forwards of all time, Larry Bird. When Rodman matched up against Bird throughout the 80s and early 90s, Bird averaged 25, 8, and 7 a game against Rodman and the Pistons. And most of these games took place when Bird was an old man with a bad back. I find it hard to believe that LeBron would struggle to find success against Rodman when a 33-year-old Larry Bird with a back brace was doing this to him. But
Man.
Rodman said that one of the main reasons why he could stop LeBron is because his game is simple. He relies on his strength and athleticism too much, which makes his game easier to contain. So this time, let's see how Rodman did against a player who relied literally on his strength and athleticism throughout his entire career.
Karl Malone.
Karl Malone. A man with a nearly identical build as LeBron.
Yeah.
27, 10, and 3 a game. Rodman couldn't stop or even slow Bird or Malone down because as great of a defender as he was, good offense beats good defense.
Man.
And LeBron is one of the most gifted offensive players the game has ever seen. On a
Man.
podcast earlier this year, former NBA player Gilbert Arenas gave his 2 cents on this debate, and his stance was very clear.
You know, when people talk about, who was better, the 92 team or the this and this team, and then you always say, what rules? what rules? What
Right.
rules are we playing under? Are we playing under, Rock'em Sock'em Robot style rules? And you know what I mean?
Who remember
If
Rock'em
so,
Sock'em
you're gonna have
Robots,
to
bro?
really let this group adjust to prison basketball. If you're trying to play this style, then this new style, then these 92 guys, they can't keep up because they don't have the equipment. They don't have the tools. They don't have the skill set. And that's why when back in the day when I was like, Dennis Rodman, they would have killed a 6'7", 210-pound guy, wouldn't be stopping LeBron James. Let it go. You wouldn't. He's a point guard. You were great at defending people who's back to the basket. He's going downhill. Your strength, your brute strength has no bearing on downhill guards. When you sit and say all the players are soft and they couldn't last in my era, it's false. It's a false statement. You're looking at the game from rules and adapting to it.
Yeah. Now, Rasheed Wallace and Dennis Rodman are both on record saying that they would also shut down Kevin Durant.
Hold up. Oh my God. Hold up. Wait a minute. Whoa. Wait a minute. I did not know this. Oh my God. Okay. No. This would never happen. Because you've never had to guard that. Kevin Durant is literally taking Dirk Nowitzki, giving him amazing handles. I wouldn't say Allen Iverson level handles, but close enough to he can make his own shot easily. He can get to the hoop, shoot from anywhere. No. And he's quick off the dribble. Dirk, he had skills, but he wasn't as fast and as quick as Kevin Durant is. I'm sorry, not was, is. No. Hell no.
KD, same thing. I mean, once you get to know people's game, once you know people's game, it's very easy to play them. They just long, they just tall.
Kevin Durant.
In that era, I don't think he would have had too much success. Now he's a monster.
And I'm starting to see a trend here. It's almost like Rasheed and Rodman are contributing Durant's success not to the fact that he's a 7-foot sharpshooting demigod with a handle, rather simply because of the era he plays in. As if, similar to LeBron, if KD played in their era, he would be just another good scorer. One of many. But here's the thing. Neither Rasheed or Dennis have ever played against a player like Durant in their entire careers. There's never been a player like him. And if there hasn't been a single defender in Durant's 14-year NBA career that could stop him, what makes these former players think they could? I don't care
Simply because his basketball mind. Okay, they're slowing me down. What do I need to do? Oh, I need to change it up. I need to switch it up. Take a few dribbles, stop on the dime, pull up. I can pull up really high. I got long arms. Can't nobody stop my vision. Drain it. Pull up. Coming up the court. Pull up from 3. Just pull up. Can't nobody stop me. I'm too long. Ain't nobody disrupting my vision. Bucket. Come on. I'm not gonna sit here and say he would slow him down. But shut him down, stopping him? No, because you ain't guarded nobody like that. You haven't. Stop it, man.
You do to Durant. Bump him, talk trash, hand check him, clothesline him, poke his eye out. It doesn't matter. The dude is still putting buckets on your head. That's how generational talent works.
Literally.
You cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
Right.
Doesn't matter who you are or what era you played in. A lot of older NBA players feel like the NBA has become soft and that most skill sets current players have would not be useful in their era. Today's players are just too soft. Or as the old heads would say, today's players would be crying by halftime. But here's the thing. Great players are going to excel in any era. That's what makes them great. Their ability to adapt to their surroundings and pick apart whatever you throw at them. Today's players complain about no calls more than ever because they've grown accustomed to drawing fouls over things that shouldn't be fouls. Are they soft? Or are they just acting soft to their benefit?
They say it's soft because they're watching the players complain about fouls, right? Well, we're complaining about fouls because the rules that we're being told us this is, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. So, that's what we're going to argue about. Well, that's
only
the rules.
Gilbert
You can't say
got
I'm
common
soft
sense.
because these
Only
are the
Gilbert.
rules, and I'm wondering
How is that possible?
Foul is. If you was
How
allowed
is
to
it-
clothesline
and all these
and we
legends,
clothesline each other,
only Gilbert got
that
common
would have been the
sense.
style. Would have been, there's no complaining because but I'm designing my game off of the rules.
The NBA has tailored the game to becoming softer because more fouls equals more points, and more points means more superstars, which the league can then market to fans to sell more tickets, more jerseys, and so on. There's a
It's
reason
really
why as
smart.
LeBron's career has progressed, he has complained and flopped more and more each season. LeBron literally bullied grown men in Rashid's era. But just
Yeah.
like every other current NBA player, he's adjusted his game
He's
to suit the
adapted.
current rules and situations.
You know what the best quote for this is? And for y'all WWE fans, you know what the quote is. Well, the best way you know what quote I'm about to say. You either adapt or you get left in the dust. Plain and simple. That's how evolution works. LeBron he continued to evolve. Now he didn't work on his shot as much. That's why he's been struggling, and he got kicked out of the first round last season. But that still don't change the fact that he's evolving. He continued to evolve. Kevin Durant continues to evolve. Steph Curry continues to evolve. James Harden continues to evolve. That's how it works. If you're smart and you know how the game goes, you evolve with it, or you get left in the dust. That's why so many players that we've seen years ago are not playing anymore, even though they were really young, because they did not evolve. So because they did not evolve, they got left behind.
This is the same reason why a guy like Reggie Miller is still considered to be one of the greatest shooters of all time, despite having a worse career three-point percentage than Bryn Forbes. Because we can all assume that if Reggie played in today's era, he would have practiced shooting more threes, he would have played in a system better suited for shooting more threes, and he would have taken more threes. He would adjust his game according to what the league demands.
Literally.
At the end of the day,
That's
this
how it
all
works.
just comes down to generational bias. It's in our nature to want to preserve and protect things that we care about. Most people are subjectively sentimental over things that they like from their time, almost territorial at times. And this applies to former players and older fans. But this also applies to younger fans and their favorite players. Some younger fans will swear Larry Bird and Magic Johnson would be average in today's league, because delusion doesn't discriminate age. And a lot of us refuse to accept that every era has generational players, and the fact is these players would thrive in any era. But very rarely do we have tangible evidence to actually prove this to be the case. I guess the lesson here is if you're gonna call a player out in an argument about era, just make sure he didn't play in the same era as you did. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, until next time.
Y'all gotta just stop disrespecting this man. I'm out, bro. Peace. That was disrespectful, dude. Bro, I mean, that's how Generation Talent